Hey everyone, and welcome back to another car review from The Boys Racing. I'm TBZ Frostbite, here to test out and review the 1988 Lamborghini Countach. The only Countach in-game for driving is the LP5000 QV, one of the last variants made before production was ceased. In this video, we will review the stock form, take it for a test drive before exploring our modification options, then build it, and finally, run it on our test tracks and review its scores. The Lamborghini Countach was the successor to the Miura and was built with a more aggressive design in mind. Stanzani and Ferruccio Lamborghini agreed that the Miura's successor required a mechanical design that enabled the greatest possible performance as well as a body that was both aerodynamically efficient and aesthetically daring. These principles had formed the Miura's development and enabled the commercial success of that model. Despite Mr. Lamborghini's preference for comfortable Grand Tours, he recognized the commercial value of a more uncompromising sports car like the Miura and gave Stanzani's team permission to push boundaries with the LP112 project. The resulting Countach incorporated successful aspects of the Miura, such as the rear mid-engine, rear-wheel drive layout, along with many new engineering and styling innovations. Lamborghini's engineering team addressed several flaws in the Miura's design, improving high-speed stability and reducing lift-off oversteer, as well as addressing the limited maintenance access, uneven weight distribution, and cooling issues to the Miura's transverse engine layout. The LP5000 QV used Lamborghini's largest engine, a 5.2-liter V12 newly equipped with 4 valves per cylinder, hence the QV acronym meaning Quattro Valvole. This upgrade engine provides 455 horsepower and 369 foot-pounds of torque. With everything assembled, the car weighs in at 3,284 pounds. Weight is distributed evenly, making this a top competitor in Grand Touring racing. So let's take this out on the road for a first drive review. Exhaust note first. For a 1988 supercar, I'm pretty impressed with its exhaust sound. Still has a little bit of game quality in it, but overall, the V12 sounds unleashed, and the 4 valves per cylinder is very much noticeable. As with most cars in Forza, the exhaust notes are still a thing needing improvement, but for what we are given, I'd say this is as good as it gets. As for all the other aspects, the car handles well, planted to the ground. Slight understeer under full load and open throttle, but overall manageable. When taking elevation changes, especially over peaks of hills, the car still feels very attached to the ground, not feeling like it wants to take off or that the steering is less effective. Steering inputs are direct, but not overbearing, pinning the car right in the direction I wanted it to go without the rear end kicking out. My guess would be the rear engine layout of this car. Low speed acceleration is a little slower than expected, but once in the power band, you can really feel all 12 cylinders push this car to its top speed. The brakes and tire grip on braking will definitely need upgrading and tuning. They leave a lot to be desired as is. However, I can see a lot of A-class potential with this car and am eager to get this back to the garage and see what kind of upgrades can really make this car my own. Taking a look first at engine swaps, we see that the only option is a racing V12. Honestly, that's not too disappointing, as Lamborghini already makes top-notch engines. Our drivetrain swaps are the standard all-wheel drivetrain system, and aspiration conversions give us the option of twin turbos or centrifugal superchargers, better known as prochargers here in the States. The aero options leave us with the standard Forza front and rear aero options, which, if going for a GT3 build, can give a good look to the car, but most likely I will pass this time around. And finally, yes, we do have track width options. Well, I'm going to go give this car a makeover and be right back. Leaving the car with the stock engine and naturally aspirated, we have a 530 horsepower machine pumping out 409 foot-pounds of torque and weighing in at 2,973 pounds. I had to go with the iconic Lamborghini yellow for this beast. With the handling already being very friendly from the factory, I focused mainly on brake grip and efficiency and increasing power in order to reach the top of A-Class. And through the streets of Mexico during free roam, I was greatly impressed at what a few upgrades and minimal tuning could do. So without further delay, let's see what this beast can do on Dijon and NOLA. This car was definitely built for the track, and you can feel that as it glides around the tracks. Stable, yet agile, with wiggle room for slight input errors that don't throw the car off balance or sacrifice too much pace. On Dijon Prenois, we got this bad boy around the track in a minute 4.276 seconds, beating out the A-Class Supra by a full second. And I must say, that shocked me a little. While the Supra is classified as a retro sports car and the Countach a retro supercar, I was still expecting the Supra to be much more closer, and, well, that just isn't the case. Again, this Lamborghini holds a track-focused drive, that maneuvering the tight chicanes and jumping back on power were its strongholds. A very impressive time indeed. But once on NOLA, we see that the Supra has a much closer time to the Countach, as it was only able to cover the track in 1 minute 26.011 seconds. The added torque turbos give prove that V12 power still has its downfalls. But the Countach still shines, and like Dominic Toretto says in Fast and the Furious,
winning's winning.
And so with that, I'll take that time. Finally, we end this video with our review, and due to a time crunch, I will have to push through these rather quickly. For the style, Countach was revolutionary and daring for its time, very much ahead of the technology, as it took years for Ferrari to catch up. And while in today's standards the retro look might seem a little off, I'd still give this a 7. And with this car beating the Supra both times, its competitive score matches that also at a 7. And its fun factor at an 8, because I was really immersed by the ability to both cruise casually and race competitively, making this a new go-to car. That brings us to a total score of 22 out of 30, and that places it just under our Supra. Well, hope you all have enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you're a Lamborghini or Ferrari fan. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. Join our Discord, the link is below. And as always, safe driving.